Have you ever wondered why one bottle of full synthetic oil costs $22 at Walmart while another bottle costs $60 online? Is there actually a difference, or is the expensive stuff just a scam? The truth is, because of a 1997 court ruling most mechanics don't even know about, the word synthetic in the United States doesn't actually mean what you think it means. Most of you are pouring refined dinosaur juice into your engines and calling it a lab-made miracle. If you're running an N54 BMW with high heat turbos or a Toyota 4Runner you want to last 300,000 miles, you are the #1 victim of this marketing trick. Today, I'm exposing the 10 major brands lying to you and showing you the no-fluff way to spot the real deal. How is it that a bottle of hydrocracked petroleum can be labeled the same as a lab-synthesized molecule? To understand the scam, you have to understand the chemistry. There are 5 groups of base oils. Groups 1 and 2 are your standard conventional oils. Group 3 is what we're talking about today. It starts as crude oil pulled from the ground, but it's put through a process called hydrocracking. They use extreme pressure and heat to strip out impurities until it acts almost like a synthetic. But at its molecular core, it's still refined petroleum. Groups 4 and 5, however, are true synthetics. Group 4 is called PAO, or polyalpha olefin. These molecules are built from scratch in a lab to be perfectly uniform. They don't have the weak links that refined petroleum has. So how did the industry get away with calling Group 3 synthetic? It goes back to a legal war between Mobil 1 and Castrol in the late 90s. At the time, Mobil 1 was the king of true PAO synthetic oil. Castrol launched a product called Syntec, marketed it as full synthetic, but they were using cheaper Group 3 base stocks. Mobil 1 took them to court, arguing that synthetic should mean the oil was chemically synthesized, not just super refined. Castrol's lawyers argued that synthetic was a marketing term, not a chemical definition. The National Advertising Division ruled in Castrol's favor. They decided that because hydrocracking changed the properties of the oil so much, it was synthetic enough. Since that day, the full synthetic label on your shelf has been a legal loophole, not a chemical fact. Let's look at the wall of shame, the brands using this loophole right now. First, Castrol Edge. They literally wrote the playbook on this. If you buy the standard black jug of Castrol Edge, you are getting high-quality Group 3 oil, but you are not getting a lab-synthesized product. Next is Valvoline Advanced. Valvoline has 150 years of heritage, and for a long time, they used PAO. But they quietly reformulated. Now, their advanced and high-mileage lines are hydroprocessed petroleum. Then there's Quaker State Ultimate Durability. The name promises ultimate protection, but at $20 for 5 quarts, the math just doesn't work for true PAO. We also have Pennzoil Platinum. Now, Pennzoil is interesting because they use gas-to-liquid technology. They synthesize oil from natural gas. It's cleaner than crude oil and performs better than standard Group 3, so we call it Group 3 Plus. It's a great product, but it's still not the same as a Group 4 PAO. Then you have the boutique brands like Royal Purple. Their standard, full synthetic, is a Group 3 blend. You have to step up to their high-tier racing oils to get the real stuff. Even Mobil 1, the original whistleblower, succumbed to the pressure. While some of their extended performance lines still contain PAO, much of their standard Silver Jug lineup has moved toward Group 3 blends to stay competitive on price at Walmart. And finally, we have the store brands. SuperTech from Walmart, Kirkland from Costco, and Amazon Basics. These are actually the most honest brands because they charge you exactly what Group 3 oil is worth, about $22. They're using the same legal loophole as the big guys, but they aren't charging you the $50 premium name brand tax. Does this actually matter for your specific engine? This is where the no-fluff truth comes in. If you're driving a 5th-gen 4Runner with that 4.0-liter V6 and you're changing your oil every 5,000 miles, honestly, Group 3 is perfectly fine. Those engines aren't high-strung. They don't generate massive internal heat. You could run a high-quality Group 3 oil for 300,000 miles, and the engine would likely look brand new inside. But if you're like me and you're driving a 335i with the N54 engine, this is a total crisis. These twin turbos generate extreme heat. When you shut off a hot engine, the oil sitting in the turbo bearing housing can reach temperatures that literally cook Group 3 oil. Because Group 3 is made of petroleum molecules of different sizes, the smaller ones evaporate, and the larger ones turn into carbon deposits, or coke. This leads to turbo failure, clogged oil lines, and those famous BMW oil leaks. True PAO oil has uniform molecules that can withstand that heat without breaking down. So, how do you protect your engine without a chemistry degree? I'm going to give you the 3-step shop hack to find the truth. First, perform the PAO check. Pick up the bottle and look for the words Group 4 or PAO on the back. Oil companies that spend the money to use real PAO want you to know it. If the bottle doesn't explicitly brag about PAO or esters, you should assume it's hydrocracked petroleum. Second, use the TDS hack. Every oil company has to publish a technical data sheet or an SDS online. Go to Google, type in the brand name and TDS. Look for two things: the viscosity index and the pour point. If the viscosity index is below 150, it's likely Group 3. If the pour point is only -30 or -40 degrees Celsius, it's petroleum. True PAO can stay liquid down to -50 or -60 degrees. Third, look for the word hydroprocessed or hydro-treated in the chemical description. That is the industry's secret code for refined crude oil. If you see that, you're looking at Group 3. Finally, use the price rule. Lab-synthesized PAO molecules are expensive to create. Between the raw materials and the chemical engineering, it is physically impossible to sell 5 quarts of true PAO for $25 and make a profit. If the price looks too good to be true, the base oil is the reason why. If you want the real stuff, the oil that actually protects high-heat, high-performance engines, you have to look at brands like Amsoil Signature Series or Redline. Amsoil is probably the most transparent brand in the world when it comes to their PAO content. Redline goes a step further and uses Group 5 esters, which were originally designed for jet engines. They have a polar charge that makes the oil actually stick to the metal parts of your engine, even when it's turned off. No one is paying me to say this. I'm telling you this because I want your N54 turbos to last, and I want your 4Runner to hit 500,000 miles.